Urban Nature and Human Design: The Great Tradition by Whinston Spirn. Whinston Spirn, a professor of landscape architecture, University of Pennsylvania, states that existing knowledge about urban nature would be sufficient to produce profound changes in the form of the city, if only it were applied. Nature pervades the city, forging bonds between the city and the air, earth, water, and life within and around it. Urban nature consists of air, the material suspended within it, and the light and heat transmitted through it. But urban nature is more than a collection of individual features like wind, hills, rivers, and trees. The forces of nature are either friendly or unfriendly. Unfortunately, especially in this century, planners and designers have mostly neglected and rarely exploited natural forces within cities. The belief that the city is apart from and even antithetical to nature has dominated the way in which the city is perceived and continues to affect how it is built. Issues such as energy conservation, waste disposal, flood control, and water supply are treated as isolated problems. Authors through the ages have described the delights of urban groves and gardens, and contemporary social scientists have attempted to measure the pleasure that urban residents derive from plants and parks. For example, concern for health motivated Hippocrates' observations on airs, waters, and places. The desire to protect the city from hazards, both human and natural, provoked Aristotle's advice for exploiting defensible topography and securing a reliable water supply, and underlies the current interest in hazard planning. The Roman architect Vitruvius specified how the layout of streets and the orientation and arrangement of buildings should respond to seasonal patterns of sun and wind. Italian architect Alberti advocated that we ought to never undertake anything that is not exactly agreeable to nature. For nature, if you force or wrest her out of her way, whatever strength you may do with it will yet in the end overcome and break through all opposition and hindrance, and the most obstinate violence will at last be forced to yield to her daily and continual perseverance, assisted by length of time. Alberti was one of the last architects to take such a broad view. In later centuries, this tradition was continued mainly by landscape architects and engineers. Francis Bacon stated that nature is only to be commanded by obeying her. John Evelyn proposed solutions to air pollution and based his plan on an understanding of the source of London's pollution and the climatic forces that acted to concentrate or disperse it. He wrote many books about the ways in solving air pollution through tree cultivation that inspired Olmsted, Loudon, and Paxton with their experience in landscape gardening. In the 19th century, when industrialization is in rapid growth, George Perkins stated that man is everywhere a disturbing agent. Wherever he plants his foot, the harmonies of nature are turned to discords. The earth is fast becoming an unfit home for its noblest inhabitant, and another era of equal human crime and human improvidence would reduce it to such a condition of impoverished productiveness, of shattered surface, of climatic excess, as to threaten the deprivation, barbarism, and perhaps even extinction of this species. After the turn of the century, only a few remain to dedicate to the reconstruction of existing city centers. Ebenezer Howard rejected the old city and proposed new garden cities, where the advantages of town and country might be combined, where industry and commerce could be integrated with homes, gardens, and farms. Patrick Eads argued for the realization of the ideal city Latin in every town. Here or nowhere is our utopia, was his response to proponents of the New Garden City movement. He advocated the city design be based upon an understanding of the natural and social history of each city and region and the need of its current residents. Play of groups, corporations, organizations, institutions, and personalities. Mumford has influenced important theories and practitioners, and among them are Ian McHarg and Kevin Lynch. Fortunately, there are existing projects that demonstrate the benefits of this approach. Woodlands, Texas. A new town now being built on 20,000 acres of pine oak forest north of Houston will eventually be a city of 150,000 people. Water emerged as a critical factor early in the planning process. Hence, the proposed solution, a natural drainage system, comprises ponds, wooded floodplains, and well-drained soils instead of concrete ditches. Denver. Storm drainage and flood control plans that are based upon the hydrologic cycle was also implemented in Denver. The principle applied here is the same as that employed at Woodlands, though developers in Denver have used rooftops, plazas, and parking lots to detain stormwater instead of ponds and soil. Stuttgart, an industrial city of 630,000 in the Federal Republic of Germany, provides yet another model of the city design that exploits natural processes. For the past several decades, Stuttgart has attempted to improve air quality and reduce the energy required to heat cool buildings. The integration of nature in city design is now possible on a scale that was previously unimaginable. Modern science has given us a view of the natural world in which the human organism has an important but not weak role, and ecology has yielded a systems framework that elucidates interactions between humans and their inhabitants.